Time to do some sketchy shit. Doo-dah, doo-dah. Hope I get away with it. Oh, the doo-dah day.
Come here, 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 come here. I farted.
Boo! How's everybody doing?
Oh, pretty good.
You put a clock.
Today was Friday for me.
Really?
Well, don't feel bad. You know, about Wednesday evening, I thought, damn, it's just Friday. It's Friday. I was calling it Friday.
No. My Friday involved a cast iron skillet and a large amount of vegetable oil. Okay. I made, see.
Okay, we don't kink shame them around here.
Yeah. I fried,
unless it involves horses.
yes. I fried steak fries. Of course, got them done, got them out on the thing, you know, draining the oil off of them. So. And I did fried okra from all that okra I drew last year. I started pulling it out of the freezer and did fried okra. I was sitting there, you know, frying. Had to do 2 batches. You know, I had that much okra going on. So I'm eating steak fries while I'm frying the okra. Now I get some of the okra out. I eat steak fries and okra while I'm frying the okra. So I finally got the okra done and started frying the chicken. I got some big leg quarters. I'm frying the chicken. I'm eating potato fries. I'm eating okra. And by the time I got done frying that chicken, I'd eaten so much steak, fry, and okra that I didn't have room for chicken. So my midnight snack tonight is going to be a leg quarters.
There you go.
There you go.
So that's how my Friday went. Went shopping early this morning. Went to Ingles. Ingles meat freezer out in front of the display freezer broke again, so they couldn't put any of the meat out in the display freezer. So they have some other freezers out in the center of the aisleway, what I call impulse buy freezers.
Mm-hmm.
And so they started putting all of their prepared meat into those freezers. And they kept all the steaks and stuff in the back. So if you wanted a steak, you had to ask. But they put all of their hamburger meat and ground sausage, all the ground meat, half price.
Whoa.
I went in there, I looked at that. I said, ooh, but we had just gone to Costco Friday afternoon and bought hamburger meat. So I got 6 pounds of hamburger meat from Costco. I went home, I was sitting here, I got to thinking about it. I said, you know what? Got back in the car, went down to Ingles, bought about 6 pounds of hamburger meat and sausage and such. So, threw it in the deep freezer. And Ace was having a gardening sale, their spring planting sale. And they've got this one brand of seed. They got 2 brands of seed for like vegetable seeds and flower seeds and stuff like this. Come in little envelopes. They got their main brand. And then they got this other one, kind of an off brand, but it's American made. So, but it's 99 cents an envelope, which you don't see that anymore.
No.
So I found 3 envelopes and that I wanted, took them up to the cash register. And I was there doing some planning for fixing our yard this year, because we're going to plant grass seed out in the front yard and the backyard. So I bought me 3 envelopes of seed, took them at the cash register. Turns out they're on sale. I got all 3 of them for 88 cents.
Ooh, that's a good sale.
Now that's a big sale right there. And then so I bought onions, which should be green onions, I think is what they're going to wind up being. But I think green onions are just basically baby onions. So
Yeah.
I think baby white onions, if I'm not mistaken.
Lindsay was incredibly freaked out when I told her, no, don't throw away the onion greens. Chop them up and put them in the salad.
Really?
Yeah. It's not an English thing.
Oh. I thought English were big on that. Yes. Like leeks and onions.
Leeks, yes, but if leeks actually had a taste,
They do. It's kind of a cross between onion and licorice. Or anise, I believe, is the actual.
yeah. The only taste I've ever been able to get out of them is like wet cardboard. But then again,
Misty and I ended up at Menards today. She wanted potting soil. She wanted a lot more potting soil than I picked up, because I'm like, we've got to carry this thing upstairs. And I'm like, do you really think that, you really need 4 huge bags?
Oh, you sweet summer child.
2 small pots that she wants to break out into other stuff. I'm like, I don't think so. I
went through over 30 40-pound bags last year. Okay.
Well, again, Misty doesn't have a whole hell of a lot. We don't have a yard. We're in an apartment, and the peace plant and lily and all that stuff that the firm sent us when my father passed away, is she wants to break up into smaller pots and stuff like that. And I'm like, I don't think we need 4 huge bags for that. If so, we can come back.
Depends on the size of the pot, because 1 bag is roughly 1 cubic feet. And that's about average for one pot. But if you're getting the bigger pots, they'll hold 2 cubic feet. So 4 bags would be about right for 2 large pots.
Mm.
Takes a cubic foot and a half to fill up a 5-gallon bucket, or an 8-gallon bucket in Canada.
Yeah.
And
But,
Canadian buckets.
Another reason we went in there was for this plant stake for her citronella plant, because she has it currently sitting in the house on the coffee table, and it's leaning towards the windows because it's going to the sunlight. So we've been wanting to go get a stake for it. So the stake was one of the main reasons we went in there. We bought it. It didn't make it from the cart into the car. We didn't figure this out until 45 minutes later when we're at home. And I'm like, all right. So I tried to call Menards. First off, their telephone system sucks. Pressing 0 for assistance gets you invalid option. And then waiting for assistance gets you hung up on. So I started hitting random extensions to get to somebody. They got me over to customer service. Customer service was extremely snotty, and I did not cotton to that in the least. And they told me that, well, if it comes back invalid, that means they're on the other line. I'm like, that's not how a telephonic system works. You either put someone to voicemail or you put them on hold. You don't just invalid, screw you. But anyways, so Misty's pissed off because we forgot the $4 steak in the cart.
I've done that before. Don't feel bad.
Do you have a hacksaw?
Possibly somewhere in some box somewhere.
Go back, find one of their carts, flip it over on its side, and cut you a steak out of the frame. It'll be a nice metal tube or something of that nature. And don't forget to get that little plastic handle off the top of the cart so that when you put this metal steak into your plant to hold your plant up, you can put the Maynard's logo on and say, I found my plant steak in your cart. One way or another, I found my plant steak in your cart.
Well, I made the mistake of the plant stakes that we got. There were only 2 of them. It turned out they perfectly hung on the edge of the cart out of the way. Got to the car, unloaded the cart, forgot to take the stakes off of the cart, left it there in the parking lot.
I find stuff in carts at the grocery store all the time, and have to take it back into the.
It's stuff somebody's too lazy to throw in the trash.
No. It's like they left a bag in the cart.
They left their eggs, or they left their kid's birthday cake. Or two things I found at our Kroger.
I found two 2-liter bottles.
That's nothing I've run across, but
I found 2 2-liter bottles of Pepsi Cola underneath the cart on the rack underneath. Apparently, they had forgotten that they'd put it down there.
There's a guy that was at Walmart about a week or so ago, and guy in front of me in line in self-checkout scans his couple items, puts them in the bag, pays, grabs his receipt, and walks.
Forgot the bag.
Oh, yeah.
forgot the bag. Yep.
It could be worse. There's this lady up in, I think it was Alaska, if I remember correctly, somewhere up north, at Walmart, that she was out. She was putting her groceries into her car, turned around, found a moose in her bag. Have y'all not seen this?
No.
Moose walked up and started eating the groceries.
She turned around. There was a moose sitting there going through her grocery cart, putting its nose in all the bags in the groceries.
At least it wasn't a bear.
Now I have.
I think I'd have preferred a bear. You can
prefer the
scare
bear.
a bear away. You try to scare a moose away, you're in a
just
fight.
gonna piss off the moose.
Yeah.
I
And
have
a moose
left
a moose will eat an SUV now. Okay. That's a bear might break out the window and steal the food. A moose will stay there until your SUV is sufficiently beaten that the moose is happy.
I have accidentally left a bag of either cat food or dog food. We're talking somewhere between 16 and 22-pound bag on the little shelf above the self-bagging area in the self-checkout, and got home and realized I'd left it. Called the store and they go, yeah, we're holding on to it for it. Just bring the receipt.
So
Used an entire day's worth of gas for work commute to go back just for the pet food. Interesting conversations around the house that night.
Joe Dog, I saw you were drinking a bottle of water.
Yeah.
Guessing one of the ones from Walmart.
Yeah. Hey, they're cheap.
Well, no, I've got the same thing.
Yeah.
But has your Walmart recently like remodeled and got the new carts and everything? Carts just like stand a little higher. They actually got a nice little drink holder in them.
No, hadn't got that yet.
Well, when they do, and you guys grab a cart, make sure it has the little thing that flips back down so that when you set your groceries in, they don't go rolling out the back of the cart.
Yes, I've done that on several occasions.
No. It was missing.
Yeah,
it wasn't there.
Ingles in our area is one of the older grocery stores in the area, so their shopping carts. They finally got around to fixing all their shopping carts.
These are all brand new since they remodeled and had their grand opening, whatever BS, like earlier this year.
I posted
earlier in 2023.
I posted the video of that moose. It was in a Walmart, and it was in Anchorage, Alaska.
Now I got the lowdown on why some of the carts in Dollar General are all beat up, even though the store has just opened. It turns out the truck drivers that deliver stuff, instead of using a pallet mule or something, will just throw things on a cart that they select at random and beat the hell out of it.
Use it like a springboard.
Yeah. And the people at Dollar General are not happy about this because they're not, I don't know that they're held accountable for the state of the shopping carts, but they do get nagged when they have to replace them entirely too early. Yeah,
Well, have y'all seen the video of the truck driver delivering carts to a store, and he pulls off and it all comes rolling out the back?
Yep, opens up the back doors and just guns it.
That happened. That was here in Chattanooga at the 153 Target.
Oh, no kidding.
Those employees were pissed because they had to push all the carts around the store.
Oh.
And the way the lot is built, there is no all the way around the store.
It's all the way around the plaza.
Yeah.
It's one of those.
Target is on this end. The exit is on that end.
Now I have found Kroger carts at the new liquor store over a mile away from Kroger. Somebody had to push them down there.
Yeah.
And abandon them in the liquor store parking lot.
That's the people without cars. They just take the buggy home.
Mm-hmm.
We where I
No, I don't think anybody lives at the liquor store. They just, for some reason, they took their stuff there to where they could catch a ride, I guess.
we've got a couple motels right there off our intersections right on I-75, and the grocery stores are down a little bit from the exit. But right near the exit, you've got these hotels, stuff like that. So people will go from the motels. They will walk down to the grocery store because they've been driving all day and they don't feel like driving anymore. They'll walk down to the grocery store, buy whatever groceries they need, put it in a cart, and take the cart back to the hotel.
And leave it there. It's wonder the hotel doesn't have somebody assigned to return the carts to the grocery store just to clear out a couple of parking spaces.
I believe they are nice enough to call the grocery store and say, hey, we've got one of your carts in our lot. So how it gets back to the grocery store, I'm not quite sure.
Jelly beans?
4 different brands of jelly beans. Sweet tart jelly beans, Skittles jelly beans, Jelly Belly, and
Earthy Bot's mini flavored beans.
Yeah.
He got one that tastes like vomit once.
No, I didn't get those. I know better than that. Last thing y'all need to see me do is puking on cam.
You're right.
Funny story about Birdie Bot's ever flavored beans. Found the one that tastes like rotten egg. I didn't find it through my own taste experiments. I figured it out by how things looked.
Hey, Zach.
My son was being a pain in the ass. It looks just like the buttered popcorn one. So I brought it home to have my son try the buttered popcorn jelly bean. And he refused to try it. So Missy just took it out of my hand. She's like, it's not that bad, and pops it in her mouth. I should have got my ass beat that night. She was retching too hard to do it, and she forgot about it afterwards, after she rested it all off.
Hey.
But, oh, yeah.
She did that to herself.
And honestly, I've had the buttered popcorn flavor ones. They really aren't that much better than the one that she ate. So,
you know, there's an old saying that says fortune favors the bold. Of course, so does humor and irony. They both also favor the bold.
I've found that fortune favors the cautious. It's counterintuitive, but it's safe.
Hey, Zach, does Zach need a link? Do we know? He's on the
main list.
Yeah, I was about to say we don't have to send him a link anymore. I keep sending him links.
You got to put Thesis on the list too.
Yeah. I don't have him on my friends list.
Yeah, who's got him on the friends list?
I do. Yeah. Good night, Carl.
Good night, Carl.
Good night, Carl.
Good night, Carl. Oh, even his rent shows up now.
Oh.
Yeah. I wonder if that's
snazzy.
I didn't even notice that on Nick's show this morning. Or no,
Donna's got a wrench too.
Yeah, this wasn't showing up during Nick's show.
Donna's got a wrench too. So.
Fancy.
And I don't recall seeing it during Bladed's show earlier today.
Sure, why not, Zach? Yeah, what the hell is that?
What?
Hey, kitty.
It's sour raspberry. Sorry.
Sorry, Joe Dog, you got this chat set up to where only you can add people.
Hmm. Well, I haven't seen me a friend request.
Thesis, you heard that. Ah,
Have you? There's a thermal drone footage video of that convoy in Gaza where they were sending in the relief supplies in the convoy, and about 150 people swarmed this one truck. And I was trying to figure out where the truck was until I realized there are people on top of this truck trying to get into the truck to get the relief. I mean, it just literally looks like something from an Aliens movie. That there are just people swarming all over this truck trying to get the relief supplies. And to get the people off of the truck, a tank that was following along behind the convoy or with the convoy fired warning shots.
Point blank.
Tanks and warning shots don't really go together. I mean, it's not the preferred weapon for warning shots.
And blew up the truck.
No, they didn't use the main gun. They used the coaxial machine guns, which is similar to an M60 machine gun or M240, depending on what the Israelis are using. And belt-fed machine gun, rapid fire belt-fed machine gun, and just apparently they inflicted about 100 casualties just firing warning shots. So
At their own people.
no, Palestinians, which that's a mess. It's going to be a mess. It will always be a mess. So anyway, I'm going through the news feeds here trying to find something to talk about tonight. Oh, cool. They got this new series out. Tom Hanks put it out, Masters of the Air.
Oh, yeah.
And apparently they're going to highlight the true story of the Great Escape from Stalag Luft 3. Which ought to be good.
And next week's episode's going to feature the Red Tails. Yeah, once the Red Tails got involved, they started inflicting damage. Well, D-Day and the Red Tails.
Well, once they got the P-51s. Because when they first got over there to England, they were still flying P-40s. So, which is not a bad airplane. You just can't keep up with anything. So. P-40 is technically a pursuit plane, but it actually did better in ground attack. So, go figure.
Well, you got to be faster than what you're pursuing.
Or be able to get up high enough you can dive down on it. So that was a big problem there when the Germans started coming out with the faster stuff, like the Me-260, the Messerschmitt 262 jet plane, and the Comets, and they had a couple of Messerschmitt. I want to say the BF-109 F and G, and the Focke-Wulf 190 F and G all had the faster engines and lighter frames.
They had a couple that were using inline engines that were water cooled rather than the radial engines that were air cooled that were pretty fast. Japan copied one of those, and we probably bombed the factory that was making their inline engines, so they had to modify. I think it was a Kawasaki fighter plane to where The narrow fuselage had to be expanded at the nose so it could hold the radial engines that they already had plenty of, and accidentally turned out to be a better plane than what they had started
I
with.
thought what they thought it was going to be.
Hmm.
That is the one problem with radial engines was the air cooling, which you
Mhm.
think air cooling on an airplane would be a great idea.
No, but that increases drag and reduces some performance quite a bit.
And then they had the double wasp that they put on the B-29s and the P-47. Both had that big double wasp engine. I think it was the P-47, if I remember correctly. And it was two inline engines, one behind the other, offset slightly, combined to make one giant radial engine. The only problem was, as the air came through and cooled the front engine, warmed up the air, so the back engine got warmer air than the front engine, and you got asymmetrical cooling of the engine.
Not a good thing.
No, because it tended to have lots of problems in the back end of the engine. So that's till they got that fixed. It's kind of dangerous to fly a B-29.
Oh, you're talking about the B-29?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know the little candy that they call dots? They're like a gun. Dots factory was the factory built by Chrysler to build engines for the B-29.
Really?
After the war, one of the greatest cars ever was built in that factory, but only 50 of them were ever built. The Tucker.
Huh.
Oh, yeah.
So the old Tucker plant is where they make dots now.
Hell of a retooling there.
Yeah.
Mhm. Oh, morning, Mike Jimmy.
Mike Jimmy, yes. Hello.
Morning, brother.
You up early?
Which means the baby was probably up early.
Well, it's Sunday morning somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
This afternoon in Niven Chat, it was Sunday morning in Australia for. I don't think the guy from New Zealand was in the chat, so the one fellow we've got in Australia was there. He's drinking coffee. Everybody else is going, oh, I got to get a beer because it's 3, 4 in the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
Larry was there.
I was wrong. It was not the P-47 that had that same engine in the B-29. It was the Grumman F8F Bearcat
Ah.
and the Hawker Sea Fury.
Don't anybody send Mike Jimmy an invite to the channel. He accidentally woke up Aurora at 3:30, or not him, but something fell over and woke up Aurora. And his wife is just getting to sleep. Aurora is just gotten back to sleep, but Mike Jimmy is waiting on his coffee. So, yeah.
Yes.
That's another one that needs to be on the list.
New babies and coffee. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you go through a lot of coffee when you got a new baby.
Speaking of coffee, that was the jelly bean I just got. What, Dan?
I want to know how
You got
Ukraine has suddenly. I know the Russians are pushing their offensively into Ukraine right now, all over the darn place, but they have knocked down 10 or 12 Russian fighter jets in like the last 2 weeks, and one really big airplane that was kind of expensive.
Oh, Donna. Oh. and woke up Carl. Oh, okay. The joys of pet parenthood.
Oh yeah, just this.
Sometimes I'll just stir shit up for no reason.
Yep. No, Joe Dog, what I was thinking is, you got so many things that you can't have anymore. A coffee jelly bean, is it not dangerous?
No.
Probably not. Okay, good.
Because that probably doesn't have that much caffeine in it. Just,
I'm taking my baby Astra and fuck them. I'm eating my jelly beans.
Uh,
Do they really want me in this world without coffee?
do they really want you in any of the other worlds? Period.
oh, Russia has shot down, or Ukraine has shot down 15 Russian aircraft in the last 2 weeks, which I haven't been keeping score, but I think that actually doubled the amount of downed aircraft, not counting drones. They knock out like a dozen drones every night.
Yeah.
And then the Russians have managed to hit and knock out an M1 Abrams, and they're bragging about that. And like,
Oh, yeah.
it's a tank. Tanks get knocked out. That's
We've managed to hit one tank. Hey, we win.
Go Russia! You're special. Okay. And then let's see. What was it? Apparently, they've hit 2 of the HIMARS trucks. They saw 2 of them being transported back to the United States for repair. They were not destroyed, but they were damaged enough that they could no longer do the job. So they'll bring them back, hook them back up, give them some National Guard unit. And,
Hello, Carrie.
hello, Just Sniffly.
Oh, John, did you see where we brought some Ukrainian pilots over and let them fly the A-10?
No,
Yeah.
that's actually a plane we probably could give them, but again, I don't know that an A-10 would do well in a drone environment. So.
Well, all the Ukrainian pilot said when he got out, he says, we need 3.
Good. We're going to give you 150.
We don't have 150.
Oh, make more.
Fairchild Aircraft went out of, or got conglomerated into something else back in the 70s.
I'm sure there's some old blueprints laying around somewhere.
Do the blueprints still exist?
I don't think they could actually build that anymore. Because
In 2017, they re-winged every one of them with new wings.
yeah.
So they're good for another 25, 30 years.
Hey, there are plenty of machine shops all over the United States that are looking for something to do.
No. Okay. Give you an example. I like using this example. The M1 Garand rifle, and the M1 carbine rifle, very popular rifles among sports shooters and such like that, were made with dropped forged receivers. Okay, very tough, and then you just don't see that sort of quality go into firearms anymore because everything now is CNC lathes. They don't forge anything anymore. They just take a metal ingot and the computer kicks out a piece. They can't build those receivers like that anymore. The industry just doesn't exist anymore for that sort of thing. And the few companies that have tried to do CNC M1 Garand and M1 carbine receivers, nobody wants them. Just the quality's not there. They're talking about bringing back battleships. Every time China starts rattling their sabers, somebody says, let's bring back a couple battleships and show them what, especially they're talking about bringing back the battleships for the Red Sea. And it says, yeah, let the Houthis shoot a drone or a cruise missile at one of our ships. We'll throw a few 16-inch shells back out.
Temper.
Yeah. Nobody understands steam generators anymore. Everything's gas turbine in the Navy now. Okay. They just don't have a steam school anymore in the Navy. Okay. 2, they destroyed all the 16-inch shells. There is no 16-inch ammunition left. So we would actually have to build a factory and figure out how to do shells and propellant. And I don't think they can reline those barrels anymore. I don't know what they did with the barrel line. I don't know if they kept the barrels or scrapped them, or if they have barrel liners or not. But I'm pretty sure. Oh, what is the name of that place? Dahlgren, Virginia, where the Navy has their gun research facility. I believe they still have gun testing available for the 16-inch gun. Maybe. It's the Navy. They never really throw out anything.
Yeah, every time you throw something away, you wind up needing it a day later.
Well, the space cannon is still down in Jamaica. And only fired it twice.
Oh, trust me, there's some Rastafarians using that thing every day. Take a hit on this, man.
Talk about getting a shotgun.
That's not what they mean by fire.
Well, it is what they mean by fire in the hole.
Wonder what they ever did with the harp gun up in Canada. At least I think it was in Canada. There were 2 space guns. There was one up in Canada, and then that one in Jamaica.
Oh, okay.
Remo Williams destroyed it.
Yes, I've seen that movie. I love that movie.
All right. Now I know who Le Beaujean is in the.
Who's a what's this?
Yeah, we'll take your word for it, Joe.
I don't know.
This is his Facebook name.
Yeah.
Oh, my sweet summer child. Yes. I can't even pronounce it, but I know the first syllable is probably Lee. The rest of it, I'm going to have to hear him say it several times before I'll ever be able to learn how to pronounce it.
Well, I just sent him the link or added it.
Good.
And I'm going to send him a divide.
And I am going to go get some chocolate chip cookies because all this talk of Jamaicans and cannons and whatnot has given me the munchies. So I'll be back shortly.
Oh. So, Rich, I found a printer.
Someone that can do your printing for the project?
No, I found the printer. I may buy the printer and do it myself. Only $400. It prints 1/10 of an inch shorter than what I need. And print the full diameter.
Yeah, when I went to try to start doing the scale up on that,
Yeah.
the nose cone would be 4 runs of the printer by itself. Because if you're looking at that 30 centimeter height,
Yeah.
with how tall it is,
Yeah.
it would actually be like 45 centimeters or something like that tall, but they would be so wide that you wouldn't be able to fit both of them on the same plate. So each one would take 1.5 runs, basically. So technically, 2 runs of your plate.
There's the dude.
I thought I saw some hardware combat information being spoken about.
Oh, yeah. I was telling.
We were Fortniting with Zach and everything, and Zach had the show running.
Mm.
I kept hearing about battleships and A-10s and Ukrainians shoot down Russian jets.
Yeah. Brought some Ukrainian pilots over and let them fly the A-10. One of them got out, flew it, did all.
We'll take 3.
He goes, we'll take 3.
Well, okay. Have you read that because of that, we'll take 3? Now the Air Force is trying to convince Congress to wipe out the A-10 program and send 80% of them literally to Ukraine. Because of that, we'll take 3. Now they're actually trying to effectively wipe out the A-10 out of the U.S. inventory, scrapping the ones that can't be rebuilt enough to go into combat and sending all the combat-ready ones to Ukraine.
Well, they better have something to replace it.
Oh, yeah, they want the Flop 35. Blech.
Well, I do remember when the F-15 came out. It was
Hi, Donna.
frowned upon.
You want to know one of the things? I can remember. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Sorry, John. You started first. That's latency for you.
I can remember when the F-15 first came out, one of the things the fighter pilots said about it was they used the same main gear. The wheels on the main gear are the same wheels that were used on the B-25 Mitchell bomber from World War II. Okay. And so all the pilots thought, oh, great, they're making planes out of recycled material. It's just what we need as an interceptor. And then it turns out they work and the plane works, and it's still the fastest plane we have in the inventory since the SR-71 got.
Well, when it first came out, they couldn't fly one without having to replace an engine when it came back.
Probably.
That's why you need 2 engines. I got to cut the heat off.
Hey, Chris.
Actually, he doesn't have to cut the heat off. He has to get his wife's permission to touch the thermostat.
John, what do you think of that long lines map I showed you? Remember that thing I tagged you in on Facebook? I said, I bet you I know what John Scarborough knows what this is.
I can turn this damn heater off anytime I fucking want.
She's not listening.
As long as you keep the door closed.
Yeah.
He wouldn't say that with the door open.
Right.
Come on. And I just love the way that cookie companies label something family size when it's actually a single serving.
Yeah, I always hated that term because how do they know how big my family is?
Yeah, right.
Have you seen my family eat?
My family may be two. My family
you
may be
seen
10
me eat?
people. My family may be 10 people. You know, I can't say family size.
I'm looking for it now, but there was a photo I stumbled across. I heard you mention the F8F, the Bearcat.
Yes.
There was a picture, and it's funny you mentioned this. A picture in a group that I'm a part of that I help moderate. It's called Warbirds. Nothing but anything. All Warbirds. If it's a military aircraft, it's allowed. Doesn't matter what country it's from, who's behind it. If it fires guns, rockets, ordnance, even reconnaissance. If it's a Warbird of any era, it's allowed. Somebody posted a picture of all the remaining F8Fs going in the smelter.
Yeah. You know what's funny is that is still one of the more because that big engine on it, one of the more popular race planes out there.
The only thing that could ever beat it was the damn Sea Fury.
Because
that plane was a screamer.
They have the same engine, but the Sea Fury is a lot lighter.
A lot lighter and a lot faster and more blades. They had 5 and 6 blade props on the Sea Furies. Oh, Lord, we're not going down this rabbit hole. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. To each their own. I'm going to leave it right at this. They each have their own advantages and they each have their own disadvantages. Yeah. It's all about...
Okay. The F-22 would win that dogfight unless Microsoft is doing an update that day.
DVR.
I have 3 words for you. Burrito Deluxe Combo.
Oh, Jesus. Here's what I'm snacking on.
Clover Valley. Somebody went to Dollar General store.
Hey, my neighborhood entrance is a Dollar General. I can walk to it.
There's a couple of those down on Mountain Creek Road.
Mm-hmm.
There's a Dollar General store.
The F-22 would win BVR. The Sukhoi would win close quarters.
Yeah. Knife fight, you go to the Sukhoi, it's a little bit more maneuverable.
Yeah. Like I said, to each their own. They both have their advantages. They both have their disadvantages.
You know, we were talking about...
They're open till 2, Kiri.
Mm-hmm.
What are you laughing at, Dan?
The expert has spoken. You know, we were talking about the A-10 being sold off and the Air Force getting rid of it and all sorts of like that. And, you know, what are they going to replace it with? I wonder about that because, you know, we didn't know the F-111 stealth fighter.
117.
111 or 117? I was about to say.
17.
111.
F-111 was a
Raven. Yeah, the aardvark in the Raven.
We didn't know the stealth fighter was there until it started dropping bombs on somebody, you know, and then it was all over the news. And then, so I'm wondering if they don't already have a nice stealthy A-10 replacement out there. And we just don't hear about it because nobody's seen the damn thing yet.
There's rumors of them trying to build one, but nobody substantiated anything about it.
There are tons of YouTube clickbait videos going, hey, this is the upgraded version of the A-10.
The Super Hog.
It looks like a stealth plane that has the big engine strapped to the tail, maybe duct taped, who knows, and all the hard weapons hard points under the wings, and you just look at it and you go, no, if they had that, it'd be in service right now. They would be trying to keep it secret. Why do you build a doomsday weapon and then not tell anybody about it?
I love that line. Why do you build it? Who builds a doomsday weapon and then doesn't tell anybody about it? We were going to announce it next week at the May Day Festival.
I don't know. I'm not sure if we can show this here, but this crossed my feed today. I'm gonna put it in private. Y'all can look at it and determine its viability for Stupid O'Clock. Dude is hunting with a minigun, hog hunting.
Did you see the guy that was hog hunting with a harpoon, homemade harpoon cannon?
Never mind the harpoon. Dude has a $130,000 minigun mounted on his side-by-side, and they run around this field that he owns. Whole pack of hogs.
If it's in Texas, they need it. Yeah.
Like, what the hell?
Texas is having a big problem with hogs.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're just all over the damn place. And
there's a guy in Louisiana that's got a YouTube short. He's got a 249 belt fed, suppressed 249 belt fed. Bunch of hogs right in front of him. Oh, goodbye.
Well, what about that video of the combine in the cornfield? They went all around and then started cutting down the center strip, and about 150 of them ran out.
Yeah,
ran out of cornfield. Okay. Let me show you something.
Joe's looking like, what?
This was
isn't that the A19?
No, that's the A12 is what
A12, yeah.
And it was supposed to replace the A6 intruder on aircraft carriers. Okay. But apparently there was going to be an Air Force version of it that was going to replace the A10. Okay.
We never could find that, did we, John?
What?
The supposed...
I have not been able to find... and I keep looking. I've got all these lovely pictures of the A12.
I showed that to a Navy guy, and he told me he was around that time when they were working on that project. You know what they called that thing? The Navy paper football.
The paper
because it looks like the paper football you used to play in school.
Hey, as long as you get it through the goalposts and back.
Yeah, but how can you fit a Gal 30 on the front of that thing?
Good question.
Watch them try to build another plane around the Gal 30, and everybody presents it. Damn, that looks like an A-10.
The one replacement I heard for the A-10, they were not going to put the Gatling gun on it because a Gatling gun's kind of inefficient. They did a study about how many rounds they fired and how many hits they actually got on something, and it's not that impressive. Yeah, you don't want to be under it when it happens, but it's not that impressive as far as killing tanks. And so,
fun fact: in Gulf War I, more tanks were killed by missiles and bombs from the A-10 than the gun itself.
Right.
By literally a 10-to-1 ratio.
Exactly. And whatever they replace the A-10 with will probably have smaller smart missiles.
Now, I can tell you another thing that the Gal 8 became famous for. Nope, stop. Don't play that.
British goalkeeper?
Why you had to ruin my secret? God damn it.
Because you take too long to do the punchline.
Well, I got a nice video of it.
They are fun. We have the Vulcan Phalanx, the Sea Whiz on the ships. It's 20 Mike. It's a M61 cannon with the radar and the laser and all that sort of stuff. And it's pretty impressive to watch it shoot at missiles. The British have a version of it that uses the same gun from the A-10. Not only can it shoot down missiles and planes, it can shoot up small warships. It can effectively shoot up small warships.
Anti-piracy weapon.
Oh, you should see the Russians with their cash doing that.
Yeah, the Russians have those things. They have this thing called an ash can, and they put a lot of them on their big ships. That's the goalkeeper. Yeah. Oh, there's a bird flying by. Get it, get it.
Yeah, he'll lock onto it in a second when it swoops back around. Or it's locked on number 2. You can see it now. It's
No,
tracking.
yeah, it's locked onto something right now. You can tell because the ship's bobbing up and down, and you can see the gun barrel moving to adjust to the angle of the ship.
Do you hear the ship resonating?
No.
Listen to it right after the gun stops firing.
We
Listen
can't
to
hear
the
it.
resonating of the ship.
We're
We
not
can't hear it because you're wearing headphones.
It's not sharing it to the thing though.
No, we can see it. We just can't hear it.
Okay, hold on.
Share in StreamYard, sharing the screen won't share the audio. You actually have
Oh,
to
yeah,
share.
You have to click a button that says share audio when you share. Go
Yeah.
back, do it again when you punch the present button.
Window screen, goalkeeper.
When you hit present, you'll see a little box at the bottom of the present screen that says share audio.
I see slides, video file, and share screen.
Okay,
Down
so
at the
when
bottom, there's a little box. Should be bottom left.
So once you hit share screen, if you do it, so from what I've noticed, you have to share the tab, and then you
I
can
see
enable
it now.
audio.
It's just like Discord because it says stream audio, goalkeeper, screen 1, 2, 3, and 4. So goalkeeper. Now tell me if you hear it.
I'm going to say no.
Yeah, because you're not sharing the tab; you're sharing the whole screen.
Okay, it's not giving me an option for audio.
Odd.
Yeah, you're sharing your whole screen. Just share the at bottom. Yeah, share screen, and then just click that file.
Present. How do I do that? Video file?
Okay. So when you hit present, the very first tab that comes up, what does it say?
Slides.
Okay, I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. After you hit present and hit share screen.
Okay,
what's
allow StreamYard to see your screen. Select window or screen.
Chrome tab.
I did that. Goalkeeper, CWiz, AirTarget, YouTube, Mozilla Firefox.
Okay, that's the problem. You're using Firefox. So the very first tab that comes up, if you're using Chrome, would actually say Chrome tab, and you would be able to share the audio from there.
All right, hold on. I can throw up Chrome 2 on the same video. Close out Firefox. Put that over there. Stop that. Present. Share screen. Goalkeeper, CWiz, AirTarget, YouTube, Google Chrome.
And at the bottom, there should be just above share and cancel. There should be also share tab audio and a little slider button. Make sure that that's lit up.
No, I'm going to have to reload StreamYard into
Hey,
Chrome
Joe,
thing because
bring that up for me.
Hit
Tell me when
play.
you got it. You got it?
Hit play.
yes.
Unmuted,
You're muted.
John.
Yeah, you got it muted on your YouTube.
Do I?
Yeah, move your mouse around again. See it? Yeah.
There
Now,
it is.
after this gun fires, listen to the ship resonating as well.
Tracking.
You hear the haul? Somebody's been watching Three Little Pigs by Green Jelly.
You think?
I love that music video. That's a good song. I love that song.
Good
I
night,
like the guy that reads Shakespeare or reads the Three Little Pigs in Shakespeare.
Ooh. You're an Android guy, right? Joe?
Yeah.
The new S24 Ultra now has an AI model that when you text somebody, you can click an option. It'll convert everything you wrote into Shakespearean theory or model. It'll literally rewrite the entire text message as if you're writing a Shakespeare novel.
Forsooth, bring home some milk.
Exactly. It literally does it just like that. There was somebody, one of my friends posted an example of it. I'll read it to you because I remember who it was.
Yeah, but is it in the original Klingon?
Somebody has had to have put out the complete works of William Shakespeare in the original Klingon. Somebody had to.
There is a touring company that does Hamlet in Klingon.
By now, you can probably find it in High Valerian.
Oh, and tickets were $75 a piece.
Does anybody want to spend $1,000 since we're talking about tickets?
No.
Delta has offered up its Flight of Totality again this year.
A flight up to what?
Flight of Totality. You're going to take off from Dallas, and they're going to fly an airliner exactly in the path of the solar eclipse. You're going to follow it.
Ooh.
Here it is.
SR-71 couldn't follow an eclipse.
They might.
Well, the shadow. They're following the shadow. The flight is a specialized flight. It's called Delta 1010, and it literally flies a straight line from Dallas all the way up to the northern border, and then they'll land at the closest airport to the northern border.
And then you got to figure out how to get back to Dallas to get to your car.
No, they'll fly you back. So anyway, here's this guy's post. He typed out, apparently I forgot my breakfast and lunch today. Gonna be hungry. AI mode Shakespeare. Alas, 'tis so long ago I have graced thee with my breakfast and luncheon today. I shall be fainted with hunger now, and my appetite hath waxed ravenous. It literally rewrote his text like that. Dan's over there like, no.
No, it's just that I know so many writers and actors and artists that would be negatively impacted if AI gets approval for replacing them.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I get that.
They got this thing. I was hearing about it yesterday. We were in the car listening to talk radio.
Thermite?
And they're talking about, what is it? The Elvis bill in Tennessee Congress. Have you heard about this?
Nope.
Elvis is an acronym for, I can't remember exactly what it was, but it's protecting artists from AI.
Ensuring likeness, voice, and image security.
That's the one. Ensuring likeness. What was it?
Ensuring likeness, voice, and image security. ELVIS.
And basically, it's to keep AI from ripping people off.
Yeah, that would be a good thing.
And the guy, and I was like, okay, that's kind of. But the reason is Tennessee has a massive music industry. I think the guy said on the radio says there are over 61,000 people involved.
Okay, it's screened.
In the music
it screened
industry.
out my comment there, but one of y'all should still be able to see it.
Oh,
What? Where?
In the comments, it says unable to post. But do you guys still see it? One of y'all is the admin.
with that,
No, it doesn't come through. If you put it through on the StreamYard chat, it'll just blank it out totally. You have to throw
There
it
you go.
in
wait, private chat.
It's in, yeah, it's in private.
chat. Okay, yeah, that's it. That's the AI thing. Yeah.
The FCC also cracked down on a law about this too. They just passed a law about using AI likeness voices for robocalls. And they're already telling people, you get caught using this? Yeah, best of luck to you.
Yeah, where that came from is one of the pro-Trump groups started robocalling people as Joe Biden and admitting to stuff.
Yeah.
Or
Well, now the law has passed. A particular individual has already started using that same system, and everybody's like tweeting the FCC. FCC, come take a look at this guy.
I think I am a firm believer that they should tax robocalls.
I'm a firm believer they just need to be banned. You get
No.
caught, you
Tax them a nickel per call, and that'll streamline that industry real skippy quick.
a
I don't know
nickel.
about a nickel, maybe $1 million per call.
No, nickel per
Streamline it
call.
even quicker.
If these people are making 100,000 calls a day, that's $5,000 in taxes every day that they would have to pay. And it's just-
Well, the thing is, they go offshore to make the call in.
tax them as they come in. That's easy enough.
It's going to be hard to tax something that, unless they can trace it back to them, because
And
half the numbers they spoof aren't even active.
There is a fellow that's been able to shut down a few call centers in India before.
Oh, you're talking about scammer paybacks and all them, Joe
Perot,
Browning, Pierogi is scammer paybacks.
Pierogi and Jim Browning, and then Trilogy Media.
Now I like Trilogy. They actually went. Remember when they went to that dude's house with Pierogi in Trail, and then they went to India. I was like, y'all got some.
And then they went to that one lady's house that they, the people were using and screwed over and stuff like that. And they went to this one lady's house. They had taken collections up and managed to get her all of her money back, plus a little bit, just to say, hey, we know that this happened to you. We weren't the ones that did it, but we want to make you whole.
Then remember when Mark Rober got involved as well, and he sent his stink bombs to the one call center.
Stink bombs, the roaches, the
Glitter
the glitter bombs following the supervisors throughout the United States. Those were glorious.
Oh yeah. But I mean, I gotta hand it to Jim Browning. He sits there and reverse hacks every one of their camera systems and their call lines. I'm like, God forbid you piss off Jim Browning.
Oh yeah. He watches them in their call centers, and then calls individual computers
while watching them on the camera.
Oh yeah. Can you tell Indira behind you just to keep it down a little bit? How does he know that Indira's behind me?
The panic that ensues. They get up there, they start ripping down the cameras, they start pulling Ethernet cables, all sorts. Oh my God, the hilariousness that man ensues.
That's why I can't wait till Beekeeper comes on streaming. Have y'all seen the advertisements for that one?
How can we avoid it?
If somebody wanted to make $1 billion real quick, come up with an AI program in the United States that reverse calls overseas call centers.
Over and over and over.
Every time they send in a robocall, it sends one right back.
Yeah. I don't know how they do it though, because I have knowledge of the Oracle and the POTS system. I know you can spoof caller ID. You can make it say whatever you want using DTMF coding. But how they're actually legitimately not converting, but altering the metadata that comes over the lines. It literally is the point-to-point routing. How they're obscuring that so you really can't say, oh, well, it came from here. The metadata is supposed to be untouchable, because if you change the metadata, the call goes off in some random routing direction and is incomplete. Because that's hard-coded information because it tells one routing station, I need to get here,
Okay,
I'm
now-
at this point, and then you route to the next exchange.
Okay, let me tell you something about going overseas. I don't know if you've ever been overseas before.
Yeah, I have.
There are other countries that do things a lot differently than the United States.
Mhm.
They don't adhere to the technology standards we do. Just because our system is supposed to be, infallible or traceable or whatever like that, doesn't mean there's some jackass overseas doing, whatever. And first time I drove through Iraq, okay, everybody had cell phones. Okay. This was back when maybe 20% of people had cell phones in the United States, 2005 and such.
Mm-hmm.
And now, of course, everybody in the United States has a cell phone. Matter of fact, it's hard to find a landline anymore. And but you'd be driving down the road and you'd see a mud hut with like a direct TV dish on top of it. It's just that they have all this technology coming in from overseas. They're just, getting whatever. And we saw, this is kind of funny, when Star Wars, what was the one that came out? The Star Wars movie that came out in 2005.
That would be either episode 1 or 2.
I think it was 2. It was episode 2. Our medic was a really big Star Wars fan and scheduled his leave from Iraq so that he could go home and be there when the new Star Wars movie came out. Okay. So he leaves, he gets there, and he stood in line all night with all the other Star Wars fans to watch the movie. Now, here's the funny part. He left like a week before that to go home. So he's there on time and everything like that. The day before the Star Wars movie came out in the United States, we had it on DVD in Iraq. We had already seen it, and we were all emailing him on Facebook and such. You're going to love the new Star Wars movie. And he's like, of course I am. He says, wait till you see it. Says, what do you mean, wait? We already have. We got it at the Haji shop this morning. Don't tell me.
Spoiler alert, everybody dies at the end.
Now, to be fair, the copy we got, what do they call it? Was a screening copy.
It was a DVX codec, wasn't it?
And it had
DVX.
the little clock it was a widescreen letterbox edition thing.
Mm-hmm.
It had a little clock right down at the bottom of the screen that would tell the guy running the movie theater how to time everything.
A sync clock.
Either that or you got the editing copy.
Yeah, something like that. But
Yeah, you had to.
That had all the edit time codes.
But it had that little. That was we actually took a piece of duct tape and put it over the screen where that clock was because it was just really annoying to sit there.
I about died laughing. Was it episode 1 in the Senate? It got 3 ETs there in the one pod. I was like, wait a minute. I had to back this.
Have you ever heard the story about that?
Yes, because Yoda was the costume character in E.T., and they were talking to each other. So George Lucas and
Spielberg?
Spielberg made a deal where if Lucas continued the trilogy with the prequels, they would put E.T. I know about that story. But when I was younger and I first got episode 1, I was like,
Let's see.
That's
Me personally, if I'd done that Senate scene, and there's like 10,000 members of the Senate or something like that, 10,000 planet members, whatever, I would have put in every movie alien you've ever seen. The Predator would have been there. The Xenomorph from Aliens.
Every movie alien you could get away with using the license for.
I would do them. I would put them in there anyway, just because all it's going to be is a little dot on the screen, and they'd have to prove that you had actually copied their movie alien. But
Oh, trust me, lawyers will. All right, see, we're here. We zoomed in here. We've got this, and
We got a magnifying glass, and you got paperwork on your doorstep.
Well, about the only one
Lucas-
Confederation would be Romulans, wouldn't it? No, not Romulans, Klingon or Vulcans.
Vulcans probably. Yeah.
Well, why not put them all in there? I mean, the Senate.
But
how big is?
oh.
How big is Star Wars in the galaxy compared to Star Trek? Because they have
It's
squadrons, don't they?
It's actually about the same size.
So why couldn't you use Klingons, Romulans, Betazoids?
But exactly, have all them.
The Borg.
Because
Brack,
it's a different galaxy.
Brack from this
And
side
it was
of
a
the earth.
long, long time ago and fought in a galaxy far, far away.
True, but keep in mind during I think it was Star Trek First Contact, the Millennium Falcon does show up in there for a brief moment.
It is at the Battle of Wolf 359. Yes. So if you look real close, you can see a Millennium Falcon flying by.
Mhm.
But again, it's so small and so far in the background. It could have been a pie pan for a while.
Well, in the J.J. Abrams Star Trek, R2-D2 got blowed off a ship. You see him.
Oh yeah. What was it? Episode 2 or 3 where R2-D2 was whistling because he had the jets now.
Do
I
what?
think it was episode 3. R2-D2 went out that one door and he only had the little ledge to stand on, so he folded up and the little jets come out.
That
Yep.
was 2.
I can't whistle because
That was 2 Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Because they were in the droid factory on Geonosis.
I'm sorry.
That's
What?
right.
Howard the Duck is in episode 2?
Well, he's also in one of the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, if not 2.
He's in 2 of them. Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna have to go back and watch this.
Now,
Episode 2.
in wasn't Force Awakens, it was the second one. You know the meme of R2-D2 is the most vulgar character? In the second continuation, so the second Disney movie, Luke and R2 have taken off in the whatever ship.
X-Wing.
It was X-Wing, wasn't it? And R2 was, and Luke goes, language.
I remember that.
They made it canon.
Mm-hmm.
I think the best scene for me, because it reflects on how I feel about certain things because of the loss of my father, was episode 2, the bar. You want to buy some death sticks? You don't want to sell me death sticks. I don't want to sell you death sticks.
You want to go home and
rethink your life. I'm going to go home, and he flips the thing back in his hand and rethink my life. I was like, good choice, young man, because those things will freaking kill you.
But why do you think they call them death sticks?
Yeah.
I bet you the tobacco industry was not happy about that reference.
Now, there was this one girl in the bar, and they got her dressed as a Twi'lek, I think. That she was the British girl that won the contest to be a character in the Star Wars movie. And I think that was the one. I'm not sure, but which I thought would be cool. Win that contest and be a Star Wars movie.
Well, John Wayne was in the original Star Wars movie.
Sort of.
Dan,
in
look on Dan's face.
I know this story. You go ahead and tell it.
Things you can do with sound bites.
the spy that was following them to the Millennium Falcon's spaceport hangar.
Zucchini nose, yeah.
Yeah, Zucchini nose. They used John Wayne's voice, but either flipped it backwards or sped it up or both.
Reversed it and sped it up.
reverse it and sped it up, and it's actually a line from a John Wayne movie, and it's actually John Wayne's voice that they used. So.
I got one that most people don't know about, but you guys might know about this. Ninja Turtles, 1993, the original Ninja Turtles movie. The guy, the little kid, the teenager that ran into Tatsu. Do you know who that was? He's completely uncredited in this.
Glenn.
Remember he says, "Go play." The little teen that ran and bumped into him. It's William Fichtner.
Who's that?
You don't know who William Fichtner is? Black Hawk Down, the Eric Sachs of the rebooted Ninja Turtle series?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. In the original Ninja Turtles movie, the teen that runs and bumps into Tatsu is William Fichtner, but he's completely uncredited in the movie. But if you look at a screenshot of it, and I have a screenshot of this, you can clearly see it is William Fichtner.
Have you ever heard of the band Cornbread?
No, but do I want to?
Yeah, well, they're one of these independent Southern bands. The lead singer was the door gunner in Black Hawk Down.
Which door gunner? The guy that's going, go, go. That guy?
No, the door gunner. That he
With the minigun.
The minigun guy is the guy that was telling him, go, go down the rope.
Yeah. Not the act. He wasn't the actor. He was the real guy on that helicopter.
Oh, okay.
He was one of the consultants for the movie.
It's a quick shot, but when Obi-Wan is headed off to search for Kamino, a short duck and Jedi robes. Yeah, Master of Quack Fu. I got that one. Unless he had a speech impediment, and then it would have been a totally different duck. I've actually
Disney had taken over by then.
I have actually used Howard the Duck, Daffy Duck, and Donald Duck playing poker as background characters in a Mira Nibram story. Cultural references are the thing that I do so well in that. I've got to drop everything in so subtly, but yet so obviously to those in the know.
Oh, Andrew hadn't heard the news about my acting career, have you?
No, but here is...
You're going to love this. I've got a non-speaking role in an animated feature.
Sweet. You're just an image. Not gonna do anything. You probably just walk around.
Okay,
for a little
Rich. Rich, did it hurt that bad?
bit.
I just stopped typing on the story I'm working on because I'm waiting for this punchline.
That's it.
Joe Dog is the punchline.
Yeah, Joe Dog is the punchline.
A non-speaking role in an animated feature.
Okay, you're losing me, but
I'm just envisioning a caricature of Joe Dog now running through the woods in the background of Life on Chorus 7.
I'll never find the picture. Maybe I can.
here it is. That is William Fichtner in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the original movie.
Huh.
And that's Tatsu, his shoulder right there, right after he ran into him. And then Tatsu's like, go, play. There was an article of an interview with Fichtner, and that was actually his first ever big role. But for whatever reason, he was completely uncredited for it. I don't know if it was because of age or something, or I don't know. I can't find that interview anymore, but I remember watching it. I was like, no way. And then he literally goes on to be Eric Sachs in the reboot of Ninja Turtles. What else? Battleship. The big black guy.
Oh,
He is an actual amputee Army veteran.
Yeah.
Yep, I learned that one not too long ago. Then there's the Blacklist. Boz, the white gray ponytail guy. Basin Boz is his name. This dude's got quite the history. Former Marine Corps captain, counterintelligence officer, CIA, and then he goes right into acting. I was like, wait a minute, this guy was a counterintelligence specialist captain in the Marine Corps. Then he goes into counterterrorism with the CIA. Then he goes into acting.
Pretty much.
He's used to playing roles.
Oh, he plays that role as Raymond Reddington's security chief down. He's got that down.
One of my favorite ones of actors, military service and stuff like that is David Niven.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
And David Niven is kind of interesting. When Britain got into the war against Germany, he wanted to go back and serve his country. So he told the producer at his studio, says, I just got called up for service. So his producer was like, I'll handle this, and called the British Embassy in Washington and was going to give him a piece of his mind, only to find out they hadn't called up David Niven or anybody else in the United States. So he goes back. I just talked to your embassy in Washington. They did not call you back up. So I love what he does. He calls his brother in England to send a telegram through his message board at the studio, pretending to be the British War Department calling him up for war service. And the studio bought it. So he winds up going back to England, goes through officer training, stuff like that, winds up as a commando officer. So he's literally out there on the front lines, poking people with daggers and stuff. And he didn't talk about any of his wartime service. So we don't really know. But there was this one line where he was giving a briefing to his troops about a mission they were going on. He was talking about how dangerous it was and what they had to accomplish and all that sort of stuff. It says, and for you men, once we've completed this mission, you'll be done with it. It says, me, I'll have to go back to Hollywood and do it again in front of a camera with Ginger Rogers.
How many of y'all are Simpson fans?
Huh?
How many of y'all are Simpsons fans?
I've watched the show
Never heard of him.
a few times.
Yeah,
Jessica Simpson.
look up
She played Daisy.
in for the 2017 Treehouse of Horror. Look for that guy.
Is that the one where the glove didn't fit? Wait, wrong Simpsons. Never mind.
Yeah.
Who am
That
I
is-
looking for?
Look on the screen.
Nice.
I have a non-speaking role in an animated film.
Nice.
I'm about this tall in the crowd scene, but I'm there.
Yeah.
And the HallowCon church.
I just I've been in rail fanning now
Yeah,
for a
I'm
bit
that
now. Look at Dan. They're just like,
No. The painkillers are wearing off. My shoulder hurts. My neck hurts. I'm just trying not to exclaim in pain, but
Well, Dan, you got 2 hours and 25 more minutes.
Yes, I know.
I'm going to tap out because I've been up since ass early because we had to take Crow to get a MRI for their left knee today, and I've been running ever since 6:30 this morning.
Mm.
So,
And Rich, I will talk.
so
I'll message you tomorrow, and we can talk about all that.
very good. All right. Catch you
All right.
later.
Good night. Good
Good
night,
night,
Richie.
Rich.
I've been doing rail fanning for the last couple of years, and I'm in the virtual rail fan Facebook group. Apparently now a trend has started to find all the railroad cars in North America that have Simpsons characters painted on them. So far, we have found Bart, Krusty, Marge, Lisa, Maggie, Burns, police chief, whatever, I forget his name, Mo,
Police chief
Wiggins,
Wiggins.
Barney, Mo, Abu, Smithers. I mean, apparently, people have been going around and they make these. The most famous one is of Homer laying across the bottom of a rail car, which is a auto rack from BNSF. There's a big donut up there and little comment bubbles going out of his head, but he's dead asleep on the bottom of this rail car in his underwear, dreaming about a donut over his head. Apparently, a vote went around, and Homer won the vote of the most likable rail car graffiti.
The one I like was the Simpsons movie was coming out, and there was some airport that had an escalator that you went from one level down to the next on this airport. And on the steps of the escalator, they had donuts painted on the steps. And at the very bottom of the escalator was Homer Simpson's head, and his mouth was right there at the bottom of the escalator where you stepped off the escalator. So that the donuts were coming down the escalator. They went into Homer Simpson's mouth.
One of the hidden Easter eggs of that escalator. I was like, did they just seriously put Green Day in the Simpsons movie?
I'm looking for them, Cap. I got one that it's not Simpsons, but it's close. I just got to find it.
What? Railroad cars?
Railroad cars.
I've seen some good ones in all my videos are up on YouTube of rail fanning in Williamson, West Virginia, Flowery Branch, Georgia, a couple in Tennessee. I mean, there's some really good, talented people out there to do this.
We were talking earlier about, all these guys that were soldiers and actors. And one of my favorite things to read up on are all these soldiers that after World War II, they went to acting school on the GI Bill. And Lee Marvin.
Yes, I was hoping
Don
you'd mention him.
Rickles.
Lee Ermey, but that's Vietnam.
Lee Ermey. Let's see. Oh, darn it.
Lee Ermey's story is quite interesting, too.
Ernest Borgnine. I was trying to think who all the...
No.
What no?
It's not there.
Oh, yeah, there's Boz's info in the chat, too.
Yeah.
And it's Bazel Boz is his full name. Bazzelbaz. He's got his own webpage. He's got his own entire webpage about him. I don't know why they posted that twice too either.
Sometimes that happens. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
We can't delete one without deleting both of them.
Oh, so it's just a replication error.
Yeah.
Mm. While John's scouring for his information, y'all know the story between Tim Colseri and Lee Ermey, right?
Yeah.
Tim Colseri was originally supposed to be Gunnery Sergeant Hartman. And then Ermey came up with this twisted plot to get others to film him doing roles. And then he submitted it to Kubrick. And Kubrick's like, okay, you know what? You're fired. You're going somewhere else. You get in there and give me a boot camp.
Yeah. Ermey was supposed to be the technical advisor to the guy that was going to play Gunnery Sergeant Hartman.
Yeah.
But the guy that played Gunnery Sergeant Hartman just couldn't do it intensely enough. And Kubrick wanted intensity in the role.
Yeah. And then, funny be known, Colseri is also a Marine. So both Ermey and Colseri are Marines. They both served in Vietnam, but Colseri just couldn't put it through enough to the way Ermey could.
No.
And then Colseri became door gunner guy.
And Ermey wrote most of his own lines. So
well, I mean, he lived that life. He was a drill instructor. He could just write that shit in his head and be like, you maggot.
Yeah, I read something that he wrote like over 100 of his own insults to use for that movie.
But a lot of them are not actually original. It was things he would actually tell these people as he's training them at Paris Island. You know, because that's just how it was. You know, my father, I made the mistake of buying that DVD for my father for his 40th birthday. It's like, here, Dad, I think you might like this. Every day for 5 years solid, I would wake up to, I am Gunnery Sergeant Hartman, your senior drill instructor, coming over the home theater. And I was like, what did I fucking do?
You know, you remember when soundboards were really popular?
Oh, God, yes.
There was a radio station that was doing radio trivia, and they were using the Arlie Ermey soundboard to answer the people on the radio trivia. What is your major malfunction?
You owe me for one jelly donut. Ready? Exercise. Hey, you know, fun fact, that's actually how Marines have to do their push-ups. 1, 2, 3, 4. I love Marine Corps. That's your repetition right there. And that's also my, you send me a text message, that's what I hear. 1, 2, 3, 4. I love Marine Corps. What else was in there?
Oh, man.
What?
NASA is scrapping the $2 billion satellite refueling plan.
Yeah, me and Zach both were like, why?
I don't know which is worse, the fact that they just wasted $2 billion on this or the fact that they don't want to pursue the technology.
There was something else that I read that that caught my attention. Oh, Boeing is buying back Spirit Aerospace to try to fix the issues that were egregiously apparent in the door bolt issue. Like that's gonna fix it. And then now FAA and Congress have said you have 90 days to give us a plan or Max is dead. You will fix all of these issues or we're revoking the Max certification. Like 90 days. I was like, oh, FAA is not playing anymore.
They gave Boeing what? 3 years?
More than that. It's been 3 years since the 2 crashes.
It's just ridiculous. And I don't know what it is. You know, it's not a bad airframe. It's just all this electronic crap they're putting in it that you think.
Well, it's not even that. They won't put the stuff in there that the pilots need to maintain these complex, the MCAS, which MCAS has been the focus of all the issues of those 2 crashes was MCAS is trying to do something to the plane. It's not telling the pilots what it's wanting to do, and the pilots are fighting the system. And the FAA is like, you need ICAS in that cockpit so that the pilots can see MCAS is triggered. Don't fight it.
The other problem with your 737s, your new ones, no engineer. You got a pilot.
Well, I mean, you've had two-man crews since the 777 and 767, 757 from back in the 80s.
But there's nobody there that his job is reading the, like you said, there's nobody there that's reading the computer, telling them what the airplane's trying to do.
Well, that's because it's on a big screen right in the middle of the console. ICAS is one of the largest screens they have in that cockpit, and it shows engine information, hydraulics, temperatures, flight control positions, warning messages, how to do your flow chart. Like even Airbus has taken ICAS. It will literally put the quick reaction, the QRM, right there on the screen. Do this, do this, do this, do this. And as you do them, it checks them off and clears it off the screen. It's literally showing you the quick reference manual right there on the screen. So you don't need the engineer, because the engineer is this massive 12-inch screen in the very center of your front panel.
Mm-hmm. Won't be long till some idiot gets an idea about making drone-powered, remotely piloted aircraft.
Yeah. I wish they would have put the MAX program into the 757. That would have been a much better aircraft, because MAX gave the 737 literally equal range of the 757, because it carries the same ETOPS certification as the 757. So it means it can fly the same distance on two engines as a 757. They should have put MAX into the 757. And now they're talking about the 767, the last airframe will be built in 2030.
Now I've heard something else. They're thinking about bringing back float planes for various reasons, and apparently they think that float planes, there's a big market for them in the Malaysian area, because everything down there's islands. Yeah. I'm trying to. I can't remember if it was Boeing or Lockheed. I think it was Boeing was actually looking at a medium-sized commercial.
The flying boats.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, the flying boats, the old Pelicans, and what else did I read?
Well, you had your Catalinas and your Pelicans and Martin
Mariner.
Martin Mariner.
Martin had several. Martin pretty much.
I would honestly like to see a rebooted and modernized Spruce Goose.
There is a program right now that the military is working on for special operations about putting a pontoon system on a C-130.
Not that program again. Didn't they shelve that once already?
I think they bring it up
or more than once.
They have to go through it every 7 years.
I think it's been several times they've shelved that,
but apparently the new one, they've got this idea for pontoons for the C-130 that the pontoons will actually hold more fuel.
Well, that'd be a benefit.
Which a C-130 is already a pretty good ranged aircraft for a propeller-driven aircraft. But putting pontoons with a fuel reserve in it could be fairly spectacular.
They're trying to turn the B-1 into a gunship now.
Oh,
yeah,
the patents are there. The patents were approved.
It's too fast.
No, but that's exactly what they're going to do. What they're talking about. Do you remember that old Russian plane that had like 20 PPSHs in it?
It had 50.
Take that concept, what they're wanting to do.
Hang on a second. Let me explain this for the viewing audience. They took a bomber, took the doors off the bomb bay, and then put 50 submachine guns in the bomb bay, pointing down and forward at about a 30-degree angle.
Mm-hmm.
To use as a gunship. And the idea was to fly it over troop concentrations and just light off all these little submachine guns. And they're only 32 caliber. So
Yeah,
You know?
but it was a raining storm of 32 caliber rounds, and each
But it
one of
did
those
have
PPSHs
each one of
held
those
what 50
guns.
rounds.
Each one of those guns had a 71 round magazine.
Yes, it was something up there. So they're taking that idea and they're sticking in a B1 with 6 dual 20 millimeter barrels and 500 rounds each, and the same concept. But they can also slew it just a little bit in each bomb base. So 3 bomb base, each one has dual sets of 20 millimeters guns sticking out the bay, and using the B1 speed, they would get down and just sit there. And by the time anybody could react, they're long gone in terrain following flight mode, just hugging the earth, escaping. But there is they stuck a turret on the Osprey. They stuck a belly-mounted turret of a minigun that they could drop out the belly of the tilt rotor.
Yeah.
That minigun will drop out full 360-degree coverage, and they can just sit there with that minigun and shoot anywhere while the Osprey's doing whatever it's doing, hovering, flying, insertion, extraction. It doesn't matter. As long as it's in the air. Go ahead.
The B-52 used to have a Stinger.
The Stinger was the Dale Brown books. It never had the Stinger tube in the tail. It either had the quad 50s, 450 calibers that were radar guided, or it had the M61 Vulcan gun that was radar guided.
That's what I'm talking about, the tail gun.
Yeah, they had a problem with that because for some reason, none of the other Air Force planes would recognize that tail gun radar as being friendly.
It actually did lead to a shoot down.
The B-52s would fly along, and when the air escort caught up with them, and they'd flip on the gun,
they didn't have IFF then,
and their IFF would say, "Hey, we're being lit up,"
and it took out an F.
No, it was an F-100 over Edwards Air Force Base. They were doing mock runs, and the defensive weapons officer inadvertently turned on the tail gun, and this was back before they had Mode 5, IFF, and all that, and that gun lit that F-100 up. I mean, wasn't he like seriously injured too? Oh yeah, there's the PPSH. Yeah,
that's their little 32 caliber submachine gun that was very popular back in World War II and Vietnam and such like that. Now, hang on just a second. They took. Let me see if I've got the. What?
Look,
I got it. I just got to punch buttons.
Yeah, TU-2SH Fire Hedgehog is your there. Look at that.
That's the plane.
Look at Joe's over there like, wow. That is a literal definition of a hellstorm of bullets.
Yeah.
And they would all fire all at the same time. So, I mean, it's a wall of 32 caliber rounds coming down.
Now, the thing is, there's no flash suppressor on those things either. So when that thing fires, it is literally a sheet of flame coming off the bottom of this aircraft and flowing back behind it in the backwash. But
leave it to the Russians. Go big or go home.
Now that is kind of cool. But you know the reason they use that particular machine gun? Because at that angle, it's short enough that you could get it in the bomb bay and close the bomb bay. I mean, it doesn't stick out of the plane that much. So, can you imagine how to be the guy who had to load all them damn drums?
That's funny hell.
Well, you talk about a detail to give a private when he screws up. We're putting you on the loading detail, comrade.
I want to see the requisition form for that.
Did they even do that in the Russian military back then? It was just like, no, you bring us every 32 caliber round you have right now. I don't care who says what.
Hang on. Let me look that up.
even if there wasn't a requisition form, whoever got sent to go and get those, the person who is in charge of dealing
Okay.
them out went.
Hang on a
"Want
minute.
to do what with
They
what?"
call it the Russian fire hedgehog is what that thing was called. I'm sure it's got a pretty Russian
The
name.
TU-2SH, the fire hedgehog.
Let me see here. You see 71 and 10 20 30. Let's see.
While he's looking,
They made over
when they-
six. They made over 6 million. Oh, it's a 30 caliber cartridge similar to the 38 Super round that the Americans use. 900 round per minute cyclic rate. I'm trying to see how many.
if when all the guns were shooting, it was 79,200 rounds per minute of a fire rate.
Let's see. They used a TU-2 bomber.
Yeah,
Twin engine bomber. Let's see.
kind of looks like the A-26 or the Mosquito.
A little bit. Looks a bit more like the Mosquito. Well, you know, it kind of looks like a cross between a Mosquito and a Betty bomber, the Japanese Betty.
Mm-hmm.
Because that rear gun bay really looks like the Betty.
Oh, here you go. Pull this up on the screen. It shows them how they loaded it. Put that up and scroll down to where they had the actual loading. Look at how they did this.
That's you know what's funny? That's
that the
actually
website
the
you're
same
looking at?
site I'm reading
Okay.
from. Yes.
Okay, so scroll down so you see the picture of them loading it into the bomb bay.
Okay, hang on a second. I gotta rate. We both have the same screen up. I'm just making sure I'm pulling up the right picture.
Cable it in.
Yeah. They literally loaded the guns in this rack.
In the
and then
rack,
they would
yeah.
winch the whole rack up into the plane.
Let me see here.
Ooh,
11
good
rows.
one. You can play
of
your.
It had 88 machine guns. 11 rows of 8. And let's see.
Ads. Ooh, yes.
Yeah, it had electric solenoids for firing all 88 guns at once. Could
Good on
expand
you got about 3 minutes.
6,284 steel core incendiaries.
You got 1 minute.
Look at the last sentence there. Specifically, the battery required 100 man-hours to be fully loaded. There was a high chance of weapon failure, and the effective range of the PPS H-41 required Soviet pilots to fly under 800 feet, well within the range of most German anti-aircraft weapons.
Yeah, that was.
All right, we got to wrap it up. Dan, are you awake?
Yep, I'm awake.
Okay.
The room's already started. I am ready to go.
You know, we
Okay, well,
I'm
we were
just
seeing
hurting a little bit.
All right,
I
yeah.
made a damn cue card, and we didn't even get to talk about my damn cue cards.
Okay. Well, with that, we got to say goodnight, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Everybody.
I have slept the surly bonds of earth and danced the skies on laughter-silvered wings. Sunward I've climbed and joined the tumbling mirth of sun-split clouds and done 100 things you have not dreamed of. Wheeled and soared and swung high in the sunlit silence. Hovering there, I've chased the shouting wind along and flung my eager craft through footless halls of air. Up, up the long, delirious, burning blue, I've topped the windswept heights with easy grace, when never lark, nor even eagle flew. And while with silent, lifting mind, I've trod the high, untrespassed sanctity of space, put out my hand and touched the face of God.